Issuing equipment to site. If I go to the equipment and maintenance schedule, we get a listing of all the items on there. I can list just the site equipment, so we've not got such a larger list to look at. You can see here, I can instantly see what items are out on site and what are available and what's out of service. And obviously, as this list gets bigger and bigger and bigger, there's quite a lot to look at. So you could just click list all items on site, so that would just list the items that are out on site. Or if you want to look at items that are out on a specific site, you can type in the contract number. It's just hidden by this video bar at the moment, but in there's a box, and if I type 141 and hit the tab key, it reduces the list to show only items that are on contract 141. So I just bring back the list with all the items. We can see that this step ladder is currently out of service due to a damaged second tread. So I can double click on that to get more details on that, to get the full audit details. Then if it were repaired, we could then put it back into service so it's available to be issued to site. So to issue items to site, so let's say I want to send the circular saw and a step ladder to a new contract. I simply say issue items to site. I then take my scanner and I need to say who we're actually issuing them to. So is it a driver that's going to take them to site, or is it the site foreman or a site fixer? So we scan their identity. So we scan their badge with the scanner. So it tells us it's Mark Hammer. I then need to scan or type in the contract that it's going out on. So I'm just going to use one of my contract sheets. So I just scan the code. And then I need to scan the item that's going out. Now, the best thing is to actually physically scan the item barcode that's on the item, so you know you've got the item, the right item, because you might have several items. So in true Blue Peter fashion, I've got some mini step ladders here. So the idea is that these step ladders actually have the barcode that relates to them on that. So when they're issued to site, we scan that barcode. So we scan the barcode, and it goes there. And then we want to send a circular saw. So I scan the code that's on the circular saw that's going out. And we can scan as many items to the one contract that we want. We then click issue items to contract. Please confirm that you wish to do that. Yes. It will then print a schedule to that effect. Preview on screen. So you get a sheet that you can keep, possibly a copy for yourself, and one that goes with the goods to say they're the items that are being issued. It's quite handy if they return this with the item so they can make any comments if there's any damage or anything to the item. And it has a unique sheet reference code as well. So that is sheet number 15. So the dashboard is then cleared, ready to issue more items, or I can go back to the dashboard, shows the items there. So if I now list all the site equipment, you can see that we've got those items there booked out to 137. If I double click on that, I can then see the full details of it. I can see it was on transaction 15, the date it was issued, the contract, and it hasn't been returned yet, so it's still on site. If I click full audit details, we can see who we issued it to, the time we issued it, and who actually booked it out. If I ever need to reprint that sheet that's got them all on, so we want to say, well, what did we actually issue on that particular sheet 15? I can search for items on the transaction by typing in the sheet number, and I can then either print a duplicate copy or just list the items that were issued on that sheet. And that's all there is to issuing items. Now, when they come back from site, a simple case of saying items returned from site. So if we have the circular saw from contract 141 back and the step ladders 003 coming back, we simply click items returned from site, scan the code, and this is where we can make any notes if there's any damage or any notes about the equipment. So we could say here that the blade was lost, blade needs replacing. Then just click items returned. Please confirm that you wish to return these. Yes. So they're now classed as returned. So if I go back to the dashboard, you can see they're both now available. If I list all the site equipment, you can now see that the items are listed there. So if I double click on that, you can now see that we've got it returned today, and it also notes that the blade needs replacing. If I go to the full audit details, you can see the date it was issued, the time, who issued it out, and then the transaction when it came back into the factory. So it came back on the 12th at 4:52 by myself, and the blade needs replacing. Now this might be where you decide to take it out of service whilst that's looked at. So I simply just click out of service, and it's now taken out of service. So if I click finish save, we can now see that that is no longer available. Now, if I try and actually book that out, so it was that item at the top there. So that is the 001. So because that's now out of service, if I try and issue that to site, so if I do a new issue, do any contract, and now I try and scan that item, it won't register because it's actually classed as out of service, so it won't let you issue that. So if I go back to the dashboard, so it's listed there, if I just show all the equipment. If I then put it back in service, so it's now available. Then if I go to list issue items from site, it will then allow me to issue that. I won't bother issuing that for now, so I can just clear that listing. Go back to the dashboard. So that's all there is to issuing and returning your site equipment to and from site.